The cake knife trembled in my hand, its serrated edge hovering above the chocolate frosting that spelled out, "Happy 30th, Elena," in elegant cursive. The cafe buzzed with the warm chatter of friends and family, the clink of champagne glasses, the faint aroma of espresso mingling with vanilla candles. I was smiling, God how I was smiling, when I leaned in to blow out the flames, my eyes catching Mom's lips brushing against my brother Marco's ear. Her whisper sliced through the noise like a hidden blade. "While everyone's here, go and change the locks. She won't notice until it's too late." My breath caught, extinguishing the candles in a ragged puff. The room erupted in applause, but I stood frozen, the knife slipping from my fingers and clattering onto the plate. Change the locks. On what? Our family home. The one Dad left to all of us in his will just 6 months ago. The applause faded into a distant roar, my heart pounding like a war drum in my chest. Fury ignited first, a white-hot blaze that seared my veins, followed by a wave of humiliation so profound it felt like drowning in public view. They were doing this now, on my birthday, with everyone watching. I forced a laugh, picking up the knife again, my knuckles white. "Oops, Butterfingers," I said, my voice brighter than the fairy lights strung across the cafe's exposed brick walls. Inside, denial clawed at me. I must have misheard. Mum wouldn't. Marco wouldn't. But the way he nodded, subtle as a thief's glance, and slipped his phone from his pocket under the table. It was real. Betrayal, raw and festering, bloomed in my gut like poison. The cafe was one of those trendy spots in downtown Seattle, with mismatched wooden chairs, potted ferns dangling from the ceiling, and the constant hum of the espresso machine grinding beans. The air was thick with the scent of fresh pastries and rain-damp streets outside, where autumn leaves plastered the sidewalks under a gray sky. I'd chosen it because it felt alive, celebratory. Nothing like the sterile hospital room where Dad had taken his last breath from lung cancer. He'd been the glue, the one who mediated Mom's favoritism toward Marco, my younger brother by 3 years. Now, with him gone, the cracks were showing, but this was a chasm. As I cut the cake, handing slices to guests, my best friend Lisa beaming with her signature red lipstick, my colleague Tom clapping me on the back, my mind raced through fragmented memories. Dad's will reading, equal shares of the house and his savings account. Mom's tight smile then, Marco's evasive eyes. Had they been planning this all along? To lock me out, claim it all. Resentment coiled tighter. Marco, the golden boy, always bailed out by Mom after his failed startups. His gambling debts. Me. I'd clawed my way through nursing school, worked double shifts to help with Dad's bills. And this was my reward. Marco excused himself midway through the toasts, murmuring something about the restroom. I watched him through the cafe's floor-to-ceiling windows, stepping into the drizzle, phone pressed to his ear. "Yeah, do it now," I imagined him saying to some locksmith. Or worse, to a lawyer. My fork scraped against the plate, the chocolate turning bitter on my tongue. Heartbreak welled up, mixing with the anger, a deep, aching sorrow for the family I'd thought we were. How could Mom, with her soft gray curls and the pearl necklace Dad gave her on their anniversary, orchestrate this? Was it grief twisting her? Or had she always seen me as the outsider, the daughter who reminded her too much of Dad's stubborn side? Lisa leaned in, her perfume a floral cloud. "You okay, Elle? You look like you saw a ghost." I swallowed, forcing normalcy. Just overwhelmed. 30 hits hard, you know. But inside, fantasies flickered, storming after Marco, yanking the phone from his hand, screaming the truth to everyone. Yet doubt crept in. What if I was wrong? Paranoid from stress. No, I'd heard it clear as the rain pattering on the glass. The party dragged on, each laugh a needle in my skin. Mom chatted animatedly with Aunt Rita, her laugh tinkling like wind chimes, but her eyes darted to me with something new. Guilt? Calculation. When Marco returned, his jacket speckled with rain, he avoided my gaze, busying himself with refilling drinks. The tension thickened, a slow simmer. I cornered him by the coffee station, the steam from the machine curling around us like smoke. What was that about? I asked, voice low, trembling with suppressed rage. He blinked, feigning innocence. Those hazel eyes so like Dad's, now laced with deceit. What? The whisper. Locks. Pause, then a chuckle. Oh, you're hearing things. Mom was just telling me to change my tie. It had a stain. His hand smoothed his collar, but I saw the lie in the twitch of his lip. Gaslighting. Pure and simple. Humiliation burned hotter. He thought I was that gullible. I stepped back, nodding, but inside obsession took root. They'd pay for this. Not with screams or tears, with something colder, sharper. The party wound down, guests hugging goodbye, the cafe staff clearing tables with a clatter of dishes. Mom kissed my cheek, her lips cool. Happy birthday, darling. Dad would be proud. The words twisted like a knife. Proud of what? The daughter they were robbing blind. Driving home through the slick streets, rain blurring the windshield, I gripped the wheel until my nails dug into my palms. Guilt nipped at the edges. Guilt for suspecting, for the dark thoughts brewing. But resentment drowned it. They'd betrayed me on my day, in front of everyone. The house loomed ahead, its Victorian facade dark under street lamps. I parked, staring at the front door. Had he already changed the locks? Tested the key, it turned. Now. Inside, the silence amplified my heartbeat. I poured a glass of wine, the crimson liquid swirling like blood. Plans formed in fragments. Check the accounts, call a lawyer. But deeper, a cold resolve settled. Revenge wasn't impulse. It was strategy. I'd play along, let them think I suspected nothing. Watch their moves. Then strike. Sleep evaded me that night. The sheets tangled around my legs. Fantasies shifted from justice to something darker. Exposing them, ruining Marco's latest scheme, turning Mom's friends against her. Moral conflict gnawed. Was I becoming the monster they painted me as? No, this was survival. Betrayal demanded balance. By dawn, the plan crystallized. I'd dig into Dad's papers, hidden in the attic. Find proof. But first act normal. The suspense built in my chest, a taut wire ready to snap. The next morning, the house smelled of fresh coffee and deceit. Mom was in the kitchen, humming as she scrambled eggs, her apron tied neatly over her floral dress. Marco lounged at the table, scrolling his phone. His hair still tousled from sleep. I entered, pasting on a smile that felt like cracked porcelain. Morning. Thanks again for the party. It was perfect. Mom beamed, plating food. You deserved it, Elena. 30's a milestone. Her voice was warm, but I caught the flicker in her eyes. Appraisal, like checking if the bait was taken. I sat, fork in hand, every bite a performance. Inside, anger simmered, layered with heartbreak. How many mornings like this had been lies? Dad's death had unraveled us, but this predated it. I'd found odd withdrawals from the joint account weeks ago, dismissed them as bills. Now it clicked, Marco's investments. Mom covering for him. After breakfast, I excused myself to run errands. The attic stairs creaked under my weight, dust motes dancing in the slanted light from the small window. Boxes stacked like forgotten lives. Dad's old photos, yellowed documents. I rifled through, heart racing, until I found the will folder. Inside, the original document. And a photocopy with annotations in Mom's handwriting. Crossed out sections of my share, redirected to Marco. A note. Change locks after party. Secure safe. Proof. My hands shook, resentment flooding like a burst dam. They'd planned to lock me out, forge changes. But why? Inner thoughts tumbled. Maybe Mom blamed me for Dad's stress, my arguments with him over Marco's handouts. Or Marco's manipulation, whispering in her ear about my ungratefulness. Obsession gripped me. I'd expose them, but not crudely. Something that hurt as much as this did. Back downstairs, I overheard them in the living room. Mom's voice low. Did you call the locksmith? Marco. Yeah, he'll come tomorrow while she's at work. The account transfer's set for tonight. Her password was easy to guess. Suppressed rage boiled. My password, Dad's birthday. They'd used sentiment against me. I slipped out quietly, driving to the bank. The lobby was sterile, fluorescent lights buzzing, the teller's keyboard clacking as I requested statements. Seeing the transfers, thousands siphoned, humiliation stung anew. But I didn't freeze accounts yet. Let them think it worked. Work that day was a blur, patients' monitors beeping in rhythm with my plotting. A colleague noticed my distraction. "Rough night. Just family stuff," I replied, voice steady. Inside, doubt whispered. Was revenge worth it? Guilt for Dad's memory. But cold resolve pushed back. This was justice. That evening I cooked dinner, the sizzle of garlic and oil filling the kitchen. Small talk flowed natural on the surface. "Marco, how's the new job hunt?" I asked, watching his flinch. "Fine. Got leads." Wait. He'd quit the last one after a misunderstanding. Code for embezzlement rumors. Mom chimed in. "He'll land on his feet. Always does." Her favoritism, once annoying, now infuriating. After dishes, I feigned a headache, retreating to my room. The house settled into night sounds. Creaks, distant traffic. I waited until midnight, then crept downstairs. The safe in Dad's study behind the bookshelf. I knew the code. They hadn't changed it yet. Inside, cash, jewelry, more documents. I photographed everything, then altered subtly. Swapped a page in the will copy with a forged one implicating Marco in fraud. My nursing precision helped. Steady hands. Suspense mounted as I heard footsteps. Hid in shadows, heart thundering. Mom passed, heading to the kitchen for water. Close call. Back in bed, fear mingled with thrill. Moral conflict raged. Forgery. I was sinking to their level. But no, this was reclamation. Next day the locksmith arrived. I forgot something, returning home unexpectedly. The man was at the door, tools clinking. Marco blanched. Thought you were at work. Shift changed." I smiled sweetly. "What's this?" Mom emerged, flustered. "Just security upgrade." I nodded, but later at the bank, I froze the accounts with the proof photos. Called a lawyer friend, anonymously tipped about Marco's past misunderstandings. The net tightened slowly. Weeks passed in quiet calculation. Marco grew irritable, job interviews flopping, rumors spreading. Mom's calls to friends turned tense, whispers of family discord. I played concerned sister. "What's wrong?" Reveling inwardly. Tension peaked at a family dinner out. Another cafe, ironic. Rain lashed the windows, thunder rumbling. Marco snapped over trivialities, Mom placating. Then my phone buzzed, lawyer's text. Accounts seized, investigation opened. I waited for the moment. Dessert arrived, tiramisu, dust of cocoa. "I know," I said calmly. They froze. "Mom." "Know what?" The whisper. "Lux." "The money." Denials flew. Believable almost. "Marco. You're paranoid, grief's messing with you." But I laid out photos on the table. The evidence stark under cafe lights. Heartbreak in their eyes now. Guilt, fear. "Why?" I demanded, voice cracking despite resolve. Mom broke first, tears streaming. "Marco needed it, debts. I thought you'd understand eventually." "Understand?" Fury erupted. "You stole from me. On my birthday." Marco lunged verbally. "You always had it easy, Dad's favorite." Layered truths emerged. Mom's resentment of my independence, Marco's jealousy fueling manipulation. Complex human, not villains but flawed, desperate. The twist came later. As police investigated, I discovered Dad's hidden letter in the safe, unread. He knew Mom's bias, left a secret trust for me alone. They'd betrayed him too. Revenge's payoff. Accounts restored, house mine. But the emotional scar. Poetic justice bittersweet. I moved out, leaving them to their guilt. Cold resolve faded to quiet sorrow. Was it worth it? The silence answered. Yes, but at what cost?